Hi, I'm Leo. I'm the founder of Unstuck Agency. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about how you can effectively pitch your PR services to prospective clients, both over cold email or LinkedIn messages, as well as actually in meetings when you're pitching your target clients and looking to convert. Now, I think it's worth saying at the start of this video that I've not ever worked within a PR agency. I never intend to work within a PR agency. But what we have been doing is working for PR agencies for around 5 years now on their client acquisition strategies. And we work with some of the most successful PR agencies across the United States as well as in the United Kingdom, helping them with their client acquisition both at home and abroad. And as a result, we've learned some best practices that you can deploy yourselves inside your own agency that can help you win new business. So I'm going to start with the first principle. And the first principle is focus on the end goal of your PR services. That is to say, what is the ultimate benefit of someone engaging your agency? I do outreach and lead generation for PR agencies. The PR agencies that I work with do not necessarily want an outreach or lead gen provider. What they want is new client partnerships and to expand overseas. That's what their ultimate goal is. And the reason they want that is they want to grow a larger PR agency, a more successful business. And the reason they want to grow a more successful business is so they can live a better lifestyle, have more time to themselves, and so on and so forth. So you want to think about those end goals when you're pitching those services and experiment with different levels in order to get that engagement. Contacting someone saying, hi, I provide PR services, be it crisis comms, influencer management, thought leadership, whatever the nature of the service is, it might be important to mention that in terms of the actual service to provide more context. But it's absolutely not the thing you want to lead with. You want to lead with their end goal. Most PR services are going to be tied to some key business outcomes. Those business outcomes might range from establishing credibility in a new market, establishing category leadership, driving more revenue and customer acquisition through PR. It could be fundraising and driving engagement and awareness amongst investors. It could be about managing comms during those investment cycles and presenting yourself in the right way to investors. So you want to think about who your target clients are, what are they most likely to be interested in based on what you know in terms of the key business outcomes they're likely to be interested in. That might change throughout the year. Some months your prospects might be more interested in driving investment. Other months they might be more interested in driving customer acquisition or raising profile in different territories. Other months they might be more concerned about reputation management. You will know more about your target market than I do, and it's important for you to think about that when you're conducting outreach and also at all stages of your sales cycle, from the very first introductory email or LinkedIn message all the way through to final stage negotiations and sales calls when you're actually trying to close that account. If we get stuck in, and I'm going to show you some examples of what that can look like, both in terms of what not to do for the purposes of cold outreach, so generating that initial interest in those initial meetings, as well as best practice as far as we see it based on what we've learned over the last 5 years. So firstly, just a little bit of data to demonstrate how this strategy that I'm about to show you can work. This contacted 422 people, 23 people responded, so that's a 5.45% response rate, 47%, so close to 50% of those responses were positive, so 11 people agreed to a meeting or requested more information. Our call to action is nearly always, would you like a meeting? So most of those should be meeting requests, which is what we typically clarify as a lead. You can see we A/B test each stage of the correspondence and also send one chaser. We only send one chaser, and this is on our tool called Smart Lead. I've anonymized the correspondence. We don't have a client called James. We don't have a client called Tech PR Group. I've just made this up, and I've made a couple of changes, but all very minor. Firstly, the subject line. So it's slightly vague in terms of what's actually being offered. You want to avoid being very specific or making it look like an offer or that you're trying to sell something. This is simply going to be the name of the company that you're contacting. So FinTech Limited, whatever the name of the fintech business is, fintech brand, and then just putting PR inquiry, NYC. Putting PR inquiry is quite vague, and it can almost be like a journalist is trying to get in contact to ask about something. So it's slightly alluring, and it's more likely to get some interest and people actually clicking to open the correspondence. You don't have a great subject line, you can only have bad subject lines. So by keeping it short and slightly vague, you're people more likely to open the correspondence. Also think very carefully about the first line, because often you'll see the first line in a preview, such as in Gmail, Outlook inboxes. So if you have a really strong hook in that first line, again, avoiding any salesy language, that's much more likely to work. So now we're going to just walk through the strategy of this email. So it says, I'm James, founder of Tech PR Group, a former well-known fintech tech publication journalist. So what you want to be thinking about is your former experience and how it relates. So if you worked in a fintech publication, or maybe just a really well-known tech publication or finance publication, possibly if you're contacting fintech, then you might want to reference that as a hook to just build that credibility, utilizing your own experience. If you used to be the head of communications and the head of comms at Revolut or other well-known fintech businesses, or your previous founder within the fintech space or whatever space you happen to be contacting, then you might want to reference that. So if you used to manage comms at McDonald's and you're contacting fast food restaurants, you're contacting restaurants, mentioning that type of director level or VP level experience, or even C-suite level experience, is going to be really helpful in terms of lending credibility. Sounds really obvious, but it's really important to do, and it's often overlooked. So this is just a placeholder that I'm using for now. So we're contacting fintech businesses based in NYC. So we want to be personable. We're mentioning the fact that we're based in Brooklyn, and whether or not we actually wanted to meet, perhaps for a coffee or a virtual meeting, offering a meeting to introduce ourselves. And then we're going to be focusing on the value prop and talking about the specific aims of the PR activity. So attracting customers and investment through creating narratives, so through PR services, to attract customers and investment. We've already said that we run an agency called Tech PR Group. It's already been established in terms of the realm of services that are being offered. There's really not much need to mention specifically what services you're offering. What you want to focus on is, yes, we're a PR agency, but we can help you achieve these key business outcomes that are going to be ongoing requirements for most businesses that you're contacting, and thinking about what's going to be relevant based on what you know about that space. In this example, we're contacting fintech businesses, so they're highly likely that they're going to be interested in attracting customers and investment. And what I've actually done is I've niched this down further. So I'm saying our strong track record is in launching payments brands into new markets. So I'm pretending for this example that I'm contacting a payment fintech business. So instead of just saying fintech businesses, although that would be better than just saying than nothing, actually saying payments means you're demonstrating that you've carried out research and actually taken the time to understand that business. And then you're saying, it'd be great to discuss more. Perhaps I can lend some insight and share some relevant information over a coffee or a virtual meeting. You're not saying, let's meet so I can sell you my PR services. So those are some fundamental principles. It's short, it's to the point, it's non-superlative, but the key thing and the purpose of this video and the key takeaway should be that you're trying to link your PR services to key business outcomes. That could be attracting customers, investment, entering a new market, raising profile, managing reputation. It's not thought leadership. It's not social media posts. It's not earned media or social media. It's the end business outcomes, which are the reasons someone's going to want to meet you. And you want to provide additional credibility, mentioning your past experience, be it companies you've personally worked at or your SEMA team have worked at, publications that are going to be well known to your target market, as well as mentioning clients that you've worked with that are going to be relevant to their specific space. So a way you could optimize this copy further is say something along the lines of, if it's true, we've been the primary driver of growth for Revolut in the US and Europe over the last 5 years, and have a number of useful insights we'd be keen to share with you. So this will all need a spell check, and you don't want to lie, you want to tell the truth. So Revolut is a placeholder for another well-known company or another company that you've worked with. They don't necessarily need to be well-known, but they need to be relevant to the specific niche, in this case, payments, that you're reaching out to. And that can apply to any industry category: food and beverage, restaurants, hotels, travel, leisure, the list goes on and on. It's about presenting examples that are relevant to the individual that you're getting in contact with. And I'm going to go into more detail in terms of ways you can do that in a time-effective way in additional videos. So I hope that was helpful. Feel free to get in contact with me if you are looking to grow your PR agency and you have any questions. I'm very happy to help and provide some insight in terms of what we've learned over the last 5 years if you want to deploy this activity in-house. And good luck to any founders out there looking to grow their PR agency.